Hi, I'm Nancy O'Neill and welcome to Suncoast FYI. Today we welcome Tidewell Hospice, the Junkluggers of Sarasota, and the Marina Bayfront Fireworks Spectacular right here on Suncoast FYI. Since 1980, Tidewell Hospice has been providing quality care to patients and families living with advanced illness. Now Tidewell is seeking to expand their services to underserved communities through their LGBTQ+ grief support group. And here to tell us all about their new service is Callie Weber, the Operational Director of Adult Grief Services with Tidewell Hospice here in Sarasota. Welcome to our program, Callie, and thank you. What you do is such a great service to so many people, and it's not an easy job, but I'm sure it's very rewarding.
It's very much so. It's a joy to get to do what we do, helping other people. It really is.
Well, could you tell our viewers, please, about the grief and bereavement services that Tidewell offers, plus in partnership with your parent company, Empath?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Okay.
So Tidewell Hospice is part of Empath Health.
Okay.
And so we provide free grief and bereavement services not only to our Tidewell patients and their families, but also to the community as well. So for our hospice folks, from the point they're admitted to hospice through their time under our care and for the year following, our families are offered that bereavement support by trained grief counselors. And then we also have a community-based program for folks that might not have died on hospice, but are eligible to get that grief support that they so much need.
Now, all of that information can be found on your website, how people can find you. You know, it's a time that's very challenging for people when they're in the throes of something. So it's better to be, I think, prepared earlier than later. So that we'll put your website across the screen and let our folks know what that is. Now, your new group support for the LGBTQ+ community, you began earlier this month. Why is this so important for Tidewell to get involved, Callie?
It's a great question. So when you're going through a tough time, I think we all know how helpful it is to be with folks that you have something in common with.
Sure.
So for a long time, we've offered groups, specific to different types of loss, be it spousal partner loss, loss of a child, loss by suicide. In this specific population, we found that it's very helpful for folks to find a community in which there's a lot of trust, where you're understood and you're valued, especially in your grief, because it's a time that's really difficult. And so as much safety and feelings of security that we can give folks, we thought it was really important to specifically offer this type of group.
Okay. Now, what do you find are the unique issues of grief and bereavement in the LGBTQ+ community?
So for a lot of folks that are in this community, the process of coming out in and of itself sometimes can have a lot of loss. They might have lost friends or family along their journey. So there's already usually a certain degree of loss that's already part of coming out and identifying. So this group, it's from the moment they walk in, they know it's a safe place, and the people in that group will understand what their process has been like, and to be able to not have any questions about who they are, and not have to ask questions about who their relationships are with. They know that it's a safe place.
Okay. Are there other specialty forms of grief and bereavement that Tidewell offers to the community?
There are. So we have a lot of different specific types of groups. Loss by suicide, loss of a child, a parent, spousal partner loss, and then we have a children's program as well, Blue Butterfly, that helps children and families through their grief journey as well.
So when something like that happens, and we're getting to my final question, you don't have to be part of the Tidewell Hospice organization to have bereavement services. offer to you. Tell us a little bit about that and how that works, Callie.
Yeah, so this is a commitment that Tidewell has made and Empath Health have made to the community. So all of those donations, when someone dies, and oftentimes in their obituary it will say something to the effect of, in lieu of flowers, please donate to Tidewell Hospice. Well, those generous donations go to help pay for this care and this support. It's a commitment that Tidewell and Empath have made to support the community. Why it's so important that in your time of deep hurting and pain, when you might have had an unexpected loss, to know that you can pick up the phone and have access to free grief support is an amazing thing to be able to provide for folks.
Now, is it a one-on-one, you say, when you pick up the phone, and you can speak to a grief counselor, or are there meetings, are there group?
Yep, so we kind of let the clients drive their own bus, so to speak. So if they want individual support or support as a family system, we can provide that. And then as appropriate, we have groups that folks can join. And some of them are time limited, like a 6-week group, and some of them are more open-ended, sort of based on whatever their specific grief need is. Grief is a very individual process.
Absolutely.
And we go through it differently. So for some folks, they might be very tearful, other folks might not.
Yes.
Some folks find it very helpful to be with a group, other folks might prefer that one-on-one space. And so we recognize that and try to offer lots of different modalities for folks to be able to plug in.
That's awesome. As you said, it's such a difficult time, and to have people, I've had personal experience with Tidewell, so I understand, and I'm so thankful for you and all of your team for what you do. So where are you located, and where can our viewers find you?
Yes, they can go to our website to look for that direct contact information, and then we have bereavement and grief counseling services throughout all of our 4 county areas. So they'll meet with a grief counselor based on their specific location.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for being here, and again, thank you for all you do for us.
Thank you.
Coming up, I sit down with Tim Vasiloff and Mark Eberhard from the Junkluggers of Sarasota to discuss how they support the local Suncoast community, so please stay tuned. We've all heard the expression, one man's trash is another man's treasure. My next guests are representing a Suncoast business that is taking that saying to heart. Tim Vasiloff is the owner of Junkluggers of Sarasota, and he's here with Mark Eberhard, the general manager of Junkluggers of Sarasota, to explain how they continue to support the Suncoast community with junk disposal and upcycling. Well, both of them sound so necessary for our time, so thank you both for what you're doing. So what is Junkluggers, and how did the two of you start this business together?
So Junkluggers is actually a national franchise.
Really?
Yep. And I opened it about 4 years ago. I was one of the first in Florida, actually. Now they're all over in the major cities. And the whole point is to basically repurpose, recycle, and reuse items and keep them out of landfills. That's the whole idea, is to not throw things away.
Okay, so how did the two of you come together to work on this project?
So actually we're both, I'm originally from Syracuse, New York, but I lived a long time in Buffalo, and Mark happened to be my neighbor in Buffalo, New York. So after I moved down here and started this business, him and his wife kept visiting. And then that turned into, now we basically live in the same neighborhood, and he's my general manager, because the business is so neat with upcycling and repurposing and just being, finding things and supporting our local community. We work with Suncoast Charities for Children, and they're a wonderful organization.
Yes, they are. And Lucy Nicandri, she's the best.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
Yeah, she's the best. And I mean, when you and your wife came down here, Mark, I'm sure the weather had nothing to do with the weather up in Buffalo.
Oh, nothing at all. At first we came once a year, then twice a year, then 5 times a year, and then we decided it was better to just stay.
Yes, I know. I'm a New England person myself, so that's what brought me here. And what a wonderful thing to do. You get to work with your friend. And so now tell us a little bit. You run the remix marketing business, the recycling part of the business?
Yes, I do.
How does that work?
We recently opened a store on Murdoch Avenue, just off Clark Road here in Sarasota. We take all of the items that we can upcycle and reuse. That a lot of times the things we take aren't junk, and we think that we can find a new home for them. So we take any of those items and we price them competitively, and we put them out in our store and see if someone else can give an item a second life.
I love it. And how do you find these people? I mean, how do our viewers find Junkluggers, Tim?
The easiest way is the internet, but our trucks are all over the place with our number. We have yard signs, but we do a lot of targeted advertising. The easiest way would be just the internet. Junkluggersofsarasota.com is our website, and that'll guide you through exactly how junk removal works and booking.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit about that. How do you, decide whether something is worth going to pick up? Because I'm guessing if you have trucks, you actually go and pick up the merchandise.
Yeah, so we're a service. So people do pay us to come pick up. Usually it's towards the end when maybe things have been donated or sold, or they're just kind of in crunch time for selling a home, things like that, or they can't do it themselves. So a lot of this stuff, is recycled or disposed of, but we do get a good percentage of items that can be reused. And what we found with the store was we have a warehouse, and we were selling things out of the warehouse to help support Suncoast Charities for Children, because then our customer also gets a donation receipt for that.
Right.
So if it's something that they say, hey, this is a nice item, we say we will sell it, but we support Suncoast Charities for Children, with the proceeds. So the customer, knows that their item's going to go to another home and a good home.
Wonderful.
And so when we get items that are maybe lower end or not of super high value, maybe like a hammer or a power drill, something that someone can use.
Yes.
It's much easier to have the retail store, because people come in for a couch or something large and they say, oh, I need new drill bits or something, and we have a whole section of just tools with just little items. So it's been able to help us really recycle and repurpose a lot more than we used to.
Now, a question, because I know that a lot of people, paint's expensive, everything like that. What if people have like full gallons of paint to donate? Can they bring those into you?
So yeah, we take paint. Usually there's a good disposal. There's a certain process with paint and chemicals to get rid of them. We don't find that people typically want to reuse those, but we do dispose of them properly. It's about getting the gases out and turning it into a solid instead of a liquid.
All right. That's good to know, because a lot of times it's where do you take these things, and you don't want to improperly dispose of them.
And we take just about anything. I mean, there's really nothing that we don't take. We've found out through the years of items that you think can't be repurposed, but they can.
Yeah. So let you be the decision makers on that when somebody has something, right?
Yep. And Mark has trained the guys to organize the truck, properly, so that if we're doing, if there's a lot of scrap, we're sorting the copper, the aluminum, the steel away from the stuff that, if something has to be thrown away. We try and keep everything separate, so when the guys are done, they come back to the store, they drop off the nice things, we go to the recycle yard and recycle everything, and then from there.
Now, you mentioned Suncoast Charities. How do you, obviously that supports the community, how exactly do you do that again?
So we donate a portion of the proceeds from all of our sales at the Remix store directly to them, and then they support 7 other smaller local charities through their large fundraising events such as Thunder by the Bay, the boat parade, which we partnered with them on, and some toy drives. So we try to work with them on a lot of their large charity events, and we help out with all the toy drives, and anything that we can find on jobs, we make sure to donate that through those as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both. And we'll run your website or contact information across our screen here so that our viewers can find you.
Great.
Pleasure meeting you both.
Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Up next on Suncoast FYI, Greg Corvell and Lisa Baer join me to talk about the Marina Jack 4th of July Bayfront Fireworks Spectacular. So don't go anywhere. Last guests today are here to share the details of a very special annual event here on the Suncoast. Marina Jack is an icon everyone in Sarasota is familiar with, and Greg Corvell, Regional General Manager for Marina Jack, and Lisa Baer, the Director of Special Events for Suncoast Charities for Children, are here with me now to tell us all about their 4th of July Bayfront Fireworks Spectacular. Oh, this is so much fun, looking forward to this every year, right? I mean, It's been 13 years, and I understand, Lisa, you're going to tell us, Suncoast Charities for Children is partnering with Marina Jack to take this event together. And tell us a little bit about that and how it works and what the viewers of this event can expect. Well, that's a lot to ask, but I know you've got the answers.
We definitely work very well in our partnership with Marina Jack's. I know Greg handles a lot of the pre-setup for the event. So I'll let him kind of fill in a little bit more of that information, but from the charity standpoint, our partnership goes about 13 years now. It's a wonderful event for the community to have everyone out there to come out for this free event, have all the families out there. But Greg, I'll let you kind of fill in.
So it is our 13th year, and we get excited every year when this comes up.
Sure.
And you know, a lot of it is for the children, is what we always think on the Marina Jack side, because of all the money we try to raise. And once we cover our expenses, the rest goes back to the charity, and that makes us feel good.
That is so wonderful. Now, we all know it's one thing to organize a fireworks festival, but there's so many moving parts in it. Tell our viewers a little bit what it's like to organize something like this. I mean, oh my gosh, I just can't imagine.
So Nancy, it's literally a year-long project. So it starts July 5th.
Wow. Because
of the permitting side, and we work, and we can't thank the city enough. You know, the city works people, we touch on a lot of different departments, the SPD and parking and all of this goes into this year-long process, and you know, we couldn't do it without a lot of help.
Well, it does, and you know, the community, I mean, we all benefit from it, so hopefully those obstacles are not very hard to handle. No. Okay. Now, this is a free event to the public, and it benefits Suncoast Charities for Children. How do you raise the money, though, for the charity if you're giving all of this away?
Well, we definitely rely very heavily on our generous sponsors, Marina Jack being one of them, but then we have many community sponsors, individual donors that come through. So after all of the expenses for the fireworks are covered, then that net revenue comes back to the charity. So we could not do it without our generous sponsors.
Okay. And why are these fundraising events so important? I mean, you know, it sounds like an obvious question, but I think we all need a reminder of why they are so important to the community.
So the fireworks are actually part of our Suncoast Summerfest that we have going on now. This is our 2nd annual Summerfest, and here at Suncoast Charities for Children, we provide funding to seven local nonprofits for special needs children, teens, and adults.
Throughout the year? Throughout
the year, yes. So all of our different fundraising events, all of the funds go back to those 7 local nonprofits. And we also provide funding to the Suncoast Foundation, who is able to come in and do more capital needs, such as new air conditioning units, hurricane-proof windows and doors, and anything along those lines.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, you do so much more for the community than, I mean, I would have never even thought about those.
We definitely try to fill in where needed and help out whenever we can. So that's why these events are so important.
Yeah. And you're the Lisa that works with Lucy Nicandry.
I am, yes.
I know. I didn't know that when you first got here, but you both have quite the job, so thank you.
And we love what we do, so we're just glad we can help wherever needed.
That's great. Thank you. Now, best viewing for this spectacular, Greg, where would you
There's
suggest?
many choices. Bayfront Park is the largest viewing area. We get about 10,000 people, pedestrians over there.
Wow.
And the nice thing is O'Leary's Tiki Bar is there, so you can grab some food or a drink if you like as well, and there's public restrooms there. The bridge is a good, you can see them from the Ringling Bridge. I mean, you name it, and even somewhat downtown, because you can see them over the top of our building. So, and they will go right about 9 o'clock.
All right. And how long do they typically last?
17 minutes, if I were to be precise.
Now, who actually handles the fireworks?
So we have a firework company, and there's a little communication there. So our entertainment will sing the national anthem right before we're about to shoot, and then I'll be on the telephone with the shooter next to the singer. So and then when she finishes that last note of the anthem, they go.
Wow.
And that's kind of our signal.
Well, there you go. And that, again, it goes back to planning and the logistics and everything that goes into it. It's very, you know.
There's some steps there.
Yeah, there are. Or if somebody has a boat, probably a good place to be on a boat.
Yes. Now there are the Marine police are out there, and they will direct you. You can only get so close just for safety and everything else.
Sure. Okay. And parking, get there early.
So yes, parking is basically all across the street because it's for just people that have reservations on that side once the public parking fills up.
Okay.
So there is public parking.
And yes, and dining reservations.
Yep,
Are you booked?
Yes.
Okay. So if people want to go next year and dine with you, they should do it on July 5th.
Always call ahead, and still call now because there always are last minute cancellations.
Sure,
so
why not ask?
You know, we'd love to get everybody that we can in.
Okay, awesome. Well, we're going to have a fabulous 4th of July weekend. It's going to be spectacular, and I'll see you at the fireworks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We hope you enjoyed the show today, and thank you for joining us on Suncoast FYI. If you would like to promote your nonprofit or community event, we would love to hear from you, and this is a complimentary service. Please call our producer, Adam Huntley, at 941-361-4645 or email fyi@snntv.com. To view previous episodes, go to snntv.com and click on the What's On tab. I'm Nancy O'Neill, and we'll see you next Friday on Suncoast FYI.